Ladies and gentlemen, Violent Games here. Today I wanted to talk and speculate about the PlayStation 5 rumors. Kind of give you my general thoughts. I'm not going to dive into the specs of the machine too much because there are much more qualified YouTubers out there that can explain to you the tech that's inside of the machine and tell you what that means. I'm just going to tell you from a common consumer standpoint what I think the PlayStation 5 can provide us. So I think there's really one salient thing that this console is going to be able to provide for us, but before I jump straight into the point, let's talk about the rumors surrounding it that are going to reinforce it. So, the PlayStation 5, the leaked specs are pretty much amazing. This is a very, very strong console, and PC gamers that have been reviewing this information have gone on the record saying that basically it's hard to believe that these are the actual specs for the console because it's so strong. However, the leaks did come from a credible source, one of them being a game dev who shall not be named, the fucking Voldemort of game devs, who basically released a bunch of slides to independent news sources giving us this information. And these leaks in the past have, been true. The same source was accredited for the PS4 and the PS Pro leaks as well. So, with that all being said, that's exciting within itself, that we're getting a console that's extremely powerful. Now, further to reinforce the point I'm going to get to, the direction that Sony wanted to say on the same slides was that the PlayStation 5, sorry for my English stutter, is going to be focused a lot on VR gaming, which I don't care that much about, and then immersion. Both of these things and all of this accumulative knowledge translates to one thing in my mind, and that is the PlayStation 5 is going to bring high frame rate gaming to the home console gamer fucking finally. This is the only point that we should focus on as console gamers because that is the only thing that is really going to be new out of the PlayStation 5. For years, guys, ever since I would say the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era up until now, we keep getting all of these games that have high resolutions. Back in the day 1080p was cool and now we have 4K and shit. But the frame rate and performance of these games has always been kind of ass in my opinion, and I feel like games ultimately aren't better at 30 frames, and it seems that our consoles can't even keep up with a lot of the games that are coming out right now. They seem to dip below 30, and it makes the gameplay feel a lot worse, in my honest opinion. But the PlayStation 5 might be the arbiter of high frame rate gaming for the home console player. And I feel like one of the biggest advantages of owning a PC is that you had access to high frame rates. Even since the PS3, Xbox 360 era, PC gaming has always had high frame rates, but they have an unsteady platform. Now we're talking about a potential platform that has great third-party and first-party support. The PlayStation has always been the victor, in my opinion, when it comes to producing their own games, making better games than Xbox, and getting those exclusives. Look at the PlayStation 4 era, guys. They've just slaughtered Xbox. So you get probably some of my favorite exclusives ever, coupled with good third-party support on a platform that is consistent for developers. You'll never put a game into your PlayStation 5 that isn't going to work, or be completely non-functional if the developer isn't a complete tard. That's amazing. This is revolutionary, and just to put a further emphasis on this, guys, frame rate is so important. It not only makes your games look smoother and, just make it more immersive, again, that buzzword coming out, but it's going to improve your reaction times in fast-paced games. If you're playing a Bayonetta-style Platinum game or something, the PlayStation 5 is going to be the place to do it because you're going to be able to get that high frame rate and be able to react to things on the fly. Or if you're playing a multiplayer shooter or any kind of first-person shooter, you're going to want that high frame rate so you can react to what's happening going on around you. Or in any genre, it kind of makes the same kind of sense. If you're in a platformer, you want to be able to make the moves as fast as possible. You want to predict where platforms are moving as fast as possible. Just as a whole, having higher frame rate is going to make console gaming so much better. And I feel like that's why a lot of PC gamers are turned off of consoles, because the performance of the system is so poor. Now you kind of have this lure to those hardcore gamers. And you're going to surprise these gamers who have been playing on consoles for years with this higher frame rate. It is going to improve all games if this is possible. So that's really all I have to say positive about the PlayStation 5 rumors. Now let's get into some of the negative aspects of the PlayStation 5 rumors. Now, the biggest problem that is possible with the PlayStation 5 has everything to do with cross-compatibility. Will we be able to access our games library from the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro? And basically, from the same leaks, it was said that cross-compatibility is definitely possible, but it's at the developer's discretion to patch the game to make it compatible for the system. What this says to me is that newer games that are closer to the PlayStation 5's release date will be patched for the 5 because, you know, developers want to make that extra cash from that market pool, and it might not be that complicated of a patch just to, you know, shoehorn in there. And Sony first-party games are almost guaranteed to be cross-compatible, because why wouldn't they? It's their own studio. They have the specs for their console. They know what it's capable of. That patch is going to be easier to do for them. Sorry, I had an eyelash in my mouth. That was weird. I don't know if I needed to share that, but I did. So I think Sony first-party games are definitely coming over, but will third-party games come over? I think the more recent games definitely will. However, early games in the PS4 era, I could see them being left behind. The question is how much of our library are we going to lose moving to the PlayStation 5? Another thing that was said about cross-compatibility is that certain games will be upscaled, whether it's just super sampling or in my hopes and prayers, they patch higher frame rates into these games. Like, imagine if Sony went out of their way to patch Bloodborne for the PlayStation 5, not only upscale using super sampling, but improve the overall performance and frame rate of the game. That would be incredible. In fact, I would replay Bloodborne on a completely naked save just for that experience alone. That would be a fucking hell of a time to play Bloodborne at 60 frames per second. I can't, like, dude, frame rate is so important to games. You guys don't understand. I bought the BioShock collection alone for this console generation just because it was a higher frame rate. They're like, hey, you want to play this at a higher frame rate? I'm like, fuck yeah. I don't care if I played it 10 times before. I love me some BioShock. I think you guys understand why. You know, I'm really into Dishonored. Look, let's not get into that. Completely unrelated. But all in all, I think cross-compatibility may or may not be an issue depending on what games they take over, how relevant those games are to the date. You know, I don't know. We will really just have to wait and see. And again, these are all leaks. It's all speculation. We don't know what's true. However, one thing kind of rings true in my ear is that the PlayStation 5 is probably going to have a disc port, which means physical media is still going to be prevalent in that console generation, which is a very good thing. I don't see why physical media should go away. I thought it might go away with the PlayStation 5, but the fact that they've already referenced cross-compatibility already and didn't say that it was exclusively digital content or digital media leads me to believe that the PlayStation 5 will have a disc port, which is really, really nice. So that's all I really got, guys. PlayStation 5, there's no reason for anyone to not be excited about these leaks if they aren't true, because as a whole, even if you're an Xbox gamer, that means Xbox's new product is going to be on par or slightly ahead of what PlayStation is going to release, which is good for you as well, and it's going to, you know, keep the industry competitive. So, man, this is crazy. We live in a golden era of gaming, guys. There's so much content to be played right now. There's no reason to not have a smile on your face. This is Violent Games signing off. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the subscribe button. Become a member of the gaming orchestra. We're a small army of beautiful people. And yeah, got a lot of keyboard warriors in there, and they keep me entertained. Let me just tell you that. There are some nice people in the comment section. I love hearing from them. So, this is Violent Games finally signing off. Enough with the ass kissing and self-promotion. Bye-bye!